get too dull. Never gonna stop. Let's run. Never gonna stop. Away from check this out, boys. It's a fight to get it right. Got to get done and get it tight. It's your it's your door. Never gonna stop. It's a fight to get it right. Got to get done and get it tight.
Good morning. Good morning, Johan. It is Tuesday, and I slept through my alarms yesterday. But that's different today. And with me, good morning, Wisp.
Hello. And good morning, Johan.
So,
I really like that song.
It's a good one. I like Pogo a lot. So apparently, they have pinned down the exact date for whenever they say Viking settlement, that Norse settlement was in North America somehow.
The first Viking settlement? I still have my earplugs in, sorry.
Yeah. So they used tree rings to study the dates of Norse settlements in North America. They were able to pin it down to 1021 AD.
Nice.
And the way that they were able to do this is they looked at the I forget which isotope it is they look at for carbon.
C something 38.
I think so.
I'm guessing here. I haven't looked at this in old people's time. I'm old. I'm so old. I'm start forgetting things. Whoa.
Yeah, but
instead were common knowledge once to me.
They went and found trees in the local area that they know are from around 993 AD and counted the rings up and looked for the isotopes that matched the Viking settlements. And they were able to pin it down to 1021 AD.
Nice.
So they were here a lot earlier than we thought they were.
So this, but we still don't really know what happened, whether they all were killed or intermingled or returned.
Yeah, we still don't know exactly what happened to them. We have our speculations, and that is it, until we can find more evidence.
What's the most likely theory so far?
If I remember correctly, the most likely theory was they just went back to their homeland.
Well, they certainly had the capability, the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they have the resources. Pretty good at boat building. Didn't need all that fancy nonsense Columbus needed.
Oh, yeah.
They also took simpler routes, if we're honest here.
They just went in straight lines, essentially. That's the simplest route, right?
Yeah, well, you go traveling along coastlines, which is relatively easy if you getting from. So they knew of Greenland, and to get from Greenland to the rest of North America isn't that hard. And after that, you just go down the coastline.
Yeah, and
that's not the issue.
The issue is making the settlements permanent.
Yeah, and I don't know the terms in English. Is it the longitudinal lanes, the horizontal ones, those parallel to the equator. If you follow those lines, it's relatively easy to follow those lines, as you can stay on course via the stars.
The ones parallel or latitude? Longitude is the ones going from pole to pole.
Oh, okay. Then I mean the other ones.
Yeah. So the latitudinal lines.
Yeah. And the Vikings knew how to do that. Or the Norsemen. And as far as I remember, they went all the way down to South America even. No, not for long. The people there were more hostile, I think.
The only ones that wouldn't be hostile would be what is now modern-day Brazil. Because whenever the Spaniards came over, the ancient Brazilian, or not really ancient, the Brazilians of the time were just like, oh, you have a lot of things that we've never seen before. Do you want to marry our women? You can have multiple wives.
I mean, that's a nice greeting, definitely.
I get all my history of Brazil from Matthias.
Well, he's Brazilian. He wouldn't lie.
All right. But yeah, it's funny how each area is completely different depending on the tribes that you encountered.
Mm-hmm.
And like in the Caribbean, you had two different tribes living on the same island, and one of them was cannibals and one of them was just trying to get by, and the cannibals would go into the other tribe and steal their women and then do horrific things to them. And
if your food source is the other tribe, not fun.
No. The thing is, it wasn't just the women, but they would impregnate the women and then have a meal after 9 months.
Oh, God.
Yeah. They were terrible, terrible people.
Are there leftovers of that culture?
Like
descendants?
I think so.
No reparations for you.
They really don't deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Apparently, Australia's oldest dinosaur which is a raptor-like species, is apparently a what's it called?
A bird.
Herbivore.
Oh, what?
Mm-hmm. A new study on the dinosaur. About 40 kilometers west of Brisbane seems an unlikely place to find dinosaur fossils, yet the area has produced the oldest evidence of dinosaurs in Australia. They have now looked at the fossils and they reveal they aren't what they first seemed. Sequence of 220 million year old tracks from the coal measures thought to have belonged to carnivorous dinosaur was actually an herbivore.
Cool. So I thought all raptors were little hunters.
Yeah, most raptor species are, but this is a raptor-like species, if anything.
No,
Because it's got...
it's
What's that?
carbon dating is with 14C. I kind of mixed it up with uranium.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So the raptor-like species is only because, I mean, if you look at how the depiction of them is here, they have the little arms, the legs.
They look pretty big.
For the time, yeah. But they are herbivores.
Don't look like I expect raptors at all, but then our image of dinosaurs is completely wrong.
Yeah, they're supposed to look more bird-like.
And probably less hideous.
Probably. Though we cannot be too certain because we don't know. All we have to go off of is some amber evidence, but even then we don't have full picture of how the feathers would have covered the dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
They look like iguanodons. Yeah, they kind of do.
One day we will find a completely preserved Stegosaurus in a giant drop of amber, just standing there in a pose, in a menacing pose. No, in an inspiring pose, as it looks up to the sky.
Ah, yes. It was looking up to the sky right before disaster hit. But I wish we could find one giant amber fossil and just see what a dinosaur would look like.
Yeah, sadly that is likely impossible because there are no giant amber trees that fart giant amber drops. Amber trees, what the fuck? Grow up! Oh God, wake up for fuck's sake!
Do what?
I'm just talking nonsense.
I mean, the oldest trees that we have in North America are from California, ironically enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because redwood forests are thousands of years old.
Yeah, but even they don't encase cars in amber.
No. It'd be funny if they did. Because then our future descendants can look back and be like, this is what they used? This is how it worked?
Oh my god, how didn't they explode all the time? An engine that works on a string of synchronized explosions? That sounds like orc technology.
Our technology?
Yeah, our cars run through constant explosions.
Oh, yes. And some have really nice sound, such as the American muscle car. It has a rhythmic tone to it, if you will.
Like the Trabant, the East German imagination of a car.
Spell that for me?
Trabant. Trabant.
This?
Yes. We had one in bright yellow. And we drove it all the way up to northern Italy after the wall fell. All up and down the Serpentines. I barfed. You feel every curve in this thing. And yes, there's a backbench.
It doesn't look like it would have one.
It does have one. Also has a trunk. This was there were two cars in East Germany. It was either this or the rich people car, the Wartburg, which was an equally disastrous monster. And if you got a car in socialism, in socialist Germany, you got this. Nothing else, this. And you waited for it for 5 to 20 years.
That 5 to 20 years?
Yes. Everybody wanted a car, and well, production wasn't that fast. It's a what do you call that? Two-tucked? They had 2 cylinders. I think I don't know too much.
Oh, so kind of like a motorcycle's engine.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And the what is it? Not the chassis. The stuff on top, the doors and the
frame
roof.
or the frame, the body.
Body? Okay. It's made from a mix of plastic and paper mesh.
What?
Yes. So if it doesn't fit, so if it comes off the conveyor belt, there is a guy there at the end who checks if everything fits right, and if a part doesn't fit right, he just pulls at it really hard in some direction until it fits right.
Just how?
Because it's not very sturdy.
How's it going, Mike?
Hi, Mike Tesla. Maybe you can look for a documentary about how the Trabant was made and have it run in silence, because, well, nobody here understands German.
Only you.
Yeah.
While I do that, this is what my dad had whenever I was growing up. Oh, one of his cars.
That looks like he wants to steal some babes.
It is a 67 Chevelle.
Damn. In 67 we built a Trabant. Also in 85 we built a Trabant.
In 89?
We built a Trabant.
What about 93?
That was after the war.
So, up until the wall.
Yeah. In the meantime, you can look up the Wartburg. WART BURG.
BURG.
That's as we called it, the Bonzen Auto, which you could only afford if you had, if you were a high tier party member or some other important person.
That?
Yes. Although there was a different, I think there was a different look to it too. It must have been another one too. This doesn't look that familiar. Is there another one? They all look like this.
There's several different versions, it seems.
Okay.
Because there was this one that I found.
Oh, that looks really old. Look for Wartburg and Stasi. You should get the right model.
Let's see. This one?
Oh yeah, that looks more like it. So this is a police car? Apparently?
Yeah. Yes.
And the police was driving these things. And if you put away the police accessories and paint this one completely black, then you get the cars that the Stasi was driving. So these look a little bit different to a Trabant, don't they?
Just barely.
Yeah. And if this car in black in socialist East Germany is standing somewhere, that means the Stasi is there and they want to be seen. Like imagine there's the FBI or CIA puts out the obvious surveillance van and puts it in front of your house. But they don't come out, they don't do anything. But they're there with the big car that reads FBI on the side. But they're just there. And then they stand there the entire day and then they drive away again. Just like the mafia would. So they usually went undercover, but when they wanted to be seen, when they wanted to intimidate people, they drove around in their big black cars.
So they were all for intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as you can see, the difference between the Trabant and this monster, the normal people, if they got a car, they got a Trabant. So we had you basically in this communist utopia, there was even a class difference in cars. It's a wonderful classless society.
Ah, yes, a classless society where only the political pundits get the nice cars.
Yeah, because the people, we only need one car, the Trabant. It's sufficient for all the people because we're all equal. But the more equal people, due to their needs and their station, of course, they need a better car to fulfill their duties. In a classless society, that is.
Oh, yeah. Classless society. Another car that my dad had, because my dad was a grease monkey, was this, an Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Oh my God. That looks like a mafia car. How I would imagine a mafia car to look like.
A lot of the cars that I'm showing you, moonshine runners would use because they could deck them out and tweak them however they wished. And by doing so, they can make the suspension very, very smooth to where the bottles don't break in the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could make it to where they can outrun the police.
What kind of bad bottles did you have that they could break from driving?
Suspension back then, well, back whenever cars started getting really popular throughout the United States and moonshine running was getting up there in the 20s, the way that cars were made, the suspension would be very, very stiff. And going over a bump, you could fill the bump and then some. And with moonshine runners going at top speeds and changing out the engines, you need a good suspension.
Yeah. Okay. At top speed, I can imagine more problems. I'm not familiar with running booze illegally through the night.
Let's see if I can find one of the first cars used. Funny enough, the Ford models were used to run booze first. See if I can find a good one.
Sorry.
You're good. Also, moonshine running is how we got NASCAR in the States. That is one of the first moonshine running cars.
Oh yeah, that is a car.
Yes, it is.
Seriously, this is a car. The stuff that's made today is just weird jelly beans. But this is a car. And I'm not a car nerd, fanatic, grease monkey, whatever. I just look at this and think this is what I think of when I think car. Where's the aesthetic gone?
We had to make all cars look the same.
Yeah.
Also, I found this picture, and I think it's hilarious.
Dixie 2628?
That's the old license plates. But just look at the moonshine there. That's all moonshine.
Storing it like that, lying down with no... Oh, God. Yeah, I understand why these things break.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to... If somebody orders a big bottle of it, you don't really have much else besides blankets to help.
I would have imagined they would have come up with more ways to store them, but yeah. I found a small clip from a documentary of quality control of the Trabant. It's a bit low pixely.
I also really like learning about bootleggers. The history of it is interesting, as people had to find new ways to do things to their vehicles.
And while it's probably not very historically accurate, I did enjoy watching the series Boardwalk Empire, which is mainly about the mafia and bootlegging and the politics behind it. There's a few things I don't like about it, but they're negligible. Overall, it's a good show. Just the ending is a bit abrupt, and that's a bit of a letdown. But other than that, I can recommend that. It's a couple seasons. It's a good watch. It's good quality. Boardwalk Empire.
I think I heard of the series a while back. I just never watched it.
Since I keep forgetting actor names, I can't remember it. The one guy, one of the main guys that who started working with Tarantino back in the day and still does to this day.
The guy that works with Tarantino?
One of the many. Lots of the actors who started with Tarantino when he was still small became really big actors. Sam Jackson, for example.
Yeah. I saw Bears and Zach watching that.
Johnny Depp.
Look at this.
Google has become completely useless. Doesn't even give you the back in the day it gave you the Wikipedia link as the first one.
What's it giving you now?
Everything else. It's not a second to last one. As I remember, there was a table with his. That's strange. I thought there was a table with his standard or recurring cast of actors. Let's look. Maybe it's in the filmography. So I found that's a funny detail, but nope. Oh, but the actor was in Reservoir Dogs. Steve Buscemi.
Oh. Yeah, Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, he plays the main role in Boardwalk Empire.
Oh.
Inspired by historic events. So this is the end of the production of a Trabant, and he is checking for blemishes, things being askew and everything. He's just giving it an overall check and fixing what may be a bit out of place.
This car looks so flimsy.
It went all the way to Italy and back several times. It was horrible. A little bit of pull. Still doesn't fit. Pull a little more.
What?
And now it fits. See? Okay. A little bit more and perfect. With what car can you do that today?
None. Especially just hitting it with a hammer to align things.
Yeah. It's great.
Slamming it as hard as possible.
Yeah, this door is a little bit too low.
What?
Bam.
How?
What do you mean? It's good communist production. Good production.
What? This isn't how you build a car.
It's just quality control. What are you talking about?
Quality control. Oh, it's not lined up proper. Let me hit it with a hammer.
Yes. Well, you use either hammer or sickle. For car, we use hammer.
Oh man. This hurts. This hurts
Why?
so much.
Why? It's beautiful. See, now he's checking the front. It's pulling a little bit. This is how you make fine adjustments in communism.
Wisp, I have a song that is this video is reminding me of. I'm gonna send it to you because I cannot play it on YouTube without getting copyright claimed.
Okay.
You've heard of Johnny Cash, right?
Yeah. I once listened through all of his songs, but there wasn't a lot that stuck. I understand why people like him really a lot, but it's not entirely my style of music.
The song that watching that reminded me of was One Piece at a Time, where he's working in a auto shop or auto manufacturer shop building cars, and he's like, I want my own car, but I don't want to pay for it, so I'm just gonna sneak parts out over time, and he never matched up the parts to the car that he was trying to build. So he's got them all the way from 1940 all the way to 1980.
Nice.
Somehow, because at the time, to get your car registered, you had to have the VIN number of every single part.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of weird going in there and the VIN numbers don't match up. It's just part by part. Let's see, what else? What other news can I find?
Oh man, I'm sad that you don't like the beautiful Trabant. There are people who are modding them to this day.
If people mod them.
Yes. They give them really amazing paint jobs and put race car motors inside.
I don't know if you've seen this one.
Yeah. But imagine one of these guys zipping past you at 200 kilometers an hour. Oh wait! I have to convert that into weird
miles
numbers.
per hour.
Yeah.
So,
Let's say on a German on a German highway you can go at the maximum speed limit. When there is one, the maximum is 220 kilometers per hour. That would be 136 miles per hour. And now imagine you go at 436 miles per hour, and on the left lane there is a Trabant zipping past you, catching up to you and going past you.
The fastest that we can go on an interstate is 112 kilometers.
Oh, well, that's at kilometers. not miles.
I converted it. It's 70 miles per hour.
But how do you get anywhere in your giant ass empty country? At snail speed. Bloody hell. 112.
Uh-huh.
That's what people go illegally from village to village here. Oh God. You don't love your cars. You want them dear Americans. You may want your cars to look nice, but apparently you don't care about driving them. Because if you did, you'd go fast. You gotta go fast, you know?
Oh, we do. We do it illegally, but we do.
Yeah, you need to change these laws, because when you drive slow all the time, and I know of your desert roads that are just 100 kilometers in a straight line.
Yes.
That's how you get accidents, because the driver gets bored. The brain gets bored. You need to do something constantly. The reason why, despite our extreme speeds on German highways, of which some parts don't even have a speed limit, is you constantly, there may not be a general speed limit. However, there's a constant, there are constant short period speed limits due to how the road goes. So if there's a curve coming, you have to slow down. You're told so kilometers in advance, so that you can match your speed to it. Or when there's bad weather, you slow down. Then there's always some construction site on German highways, so you have to go slow and fast all the time anyway, and you have to change lanes all the time, because the slowest car is on the right lane, and the fastest cars are on the left lane. So we're only allowed to surpass another car on the left side of it.
I forgot that Germany has the same way of driving that America does.
Yeah, but dude, you need to. It's this constant change of pace and change of lane that keeps the driver awake and attentive. When you remove that and you just go at snail speed in a straight line, then the driver loses attention, and that's when accidents happen. So the irony is, and the counterintuitive truth is, when you have little to no speed limit, there are less accidents.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that you have to go 220. You can still chuck around at your 80 kilometers on the right lane. Just stuck yourself behind a truck or something. Rant over.
Thing is, I don't trust the truck that I drive for work to go more than 55 miles an hour in it. I don't trust it, because once I hit about 60, it starts to shake really bad, and I've told my boss about that. We had it checked, and they're like, yeah, no, everything's fine. I don't know why it's shaking.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too good.
I'm just scared that the axle's going to fall out, or one of the tires is going to go off on its own at some point. But in other news, the Navy has reported major failures led to the loss of the USS Bonhomme shard. There was a fire last year that destroyed the Navy amphibious assault ship, and it was allowed to burn for days on end.
What?
Yep, due to a series of individual and systemic failures, leading to a crew that it was inadequately prepared to battle the blaze. Internal investigation by the service has found. So, some 20-year-old decided to set one of the storerooms on fire in an aggravated arson, which he's been charged for.
Is
And
this a military vessel?
uh-huh.
There was a 20-year-old who set
Uh-huh.
fire?
Yep.
You mean a soldier or a guy?
A sailor.
Okay. That's relevant.
Yep.
And because the storeroom was set on fire, the whole bloody thing burned and it didn't stop burning?
Yep, because although the fire was started by an act of arson, the ship was lost due to inability to extinguish the fire. In the 19 months executing the ship's maintenance availability, repeated failures allowed for the accumulation of significant risk and an inadequately prepared crew, which led to an ineffective fire response. Basically, what they found is a lot of the where is it? A lot of the fire stations on board, 87% to be exact, had equipment problems and had not been inspected. So that means they could be missing the hoses, they could be missing the nozzles for the hoses, just a whole bunch of different equipment problems. And ensuring readiness was not done. They were in the middle of a 2-year upgrade, estimated to cost $250 million when the fire broke out in the ship's lower storage area July 12, 2020 at Naval Base San Diego. On the morning the fire broke out, the report says a junior sailor who had finished her watch shift noticed a hazy white fog in the area where the blaze originated, but did not report it because she did not smell smoke.
What?
If we are told, we are trained on this, if you see any fog or anything on the ship that seems off, report it immediately, even if you don't smell smoke.
Yeah. So this woman is a failure.
Yep. In the
Hazy white fog. Yeah, that's called that smoke can be white. It depends on what is burning. If she can't tell the difference between fog and smoke, she's a retard. You should transfer her to McNamara's people.
Yeah, we update our equipment for fire safety every year as well. It's just this was you'll see who's being charged with the loss of the ship in just a second.
Man.
Crew members didn't ring the bells to alert sailors of a fire until 10 minutes after it was discovered, costing crucial response time.
This is one of these moments where I do not know anymore whether this is just a slew of malice and retardation, or whether this is some way of getting rid of the ship early. Was the ship relevant in any way?
Yes, actually, the ship itself was used during deployments to relieve other amphibious assault ships, and with this one down, the others that would have to what's the best way I can put this? The ones that would be relieved by it are now going to have to extend out further their deployment than originally planned, and then they have to find another ship to relieve them.
So it's a break of the support line.
Yep.
That is really bad.
Which we almost had an issue with our ship relieving because we had constant electrical failures because we had just updated all of our electrical lines on the ship, and we kept on finding that the contractors that put them in did many of them incorrectly, creating issues with us hooking up to shore power. So we weren't running the ship power all the time, to where we would lose power on the ship almost every day until we got it all fixed again using new contractors.
Man, this text is just getting worse.
Mm-hmm. Sailors also failed to activate the firefighting foam system, even though it was accessible and could have slowed the fire's progress, with reports saying that no one interviewed for the investigation considered this action or had specific knowledge as to the location of the button or its function.
Okay, so this is either these are McNamara's idiots, or which is becoming insulting to McNamara's idiots at this point. Or this was I'm sorry, I'm my tinfoil head is always a little bit cautious. This was a deliberate self-destruction of this thing. It's hard to imagine that everyone is so stupid.
Well,
that means a complete failure of the command line instructing the sailors.
Oh, we're gonna get there. Among those singled out for blame by report are Vice Admiral Richard Brown, a now retired 3-star admiral who headed Naval Surface Force Pacific Fleet, as well as the ship's top 3 commanders. Of the Bonhomme Shards, commanding officer Captain Gregory Thorman, Kahn reportedly wrote, "The execution of his duties created an environment of poor training, maintenance, and operational standards that directly led to the loss of the ship." The high brass is now being looked at and are being investigated further about how they did not do ship training properly.
I'd say look at their political connections and even ties to, well, global enemies. Because this can just be complete neglect of duties out of boredom and hubris. Because everything worked so far all this time with me doing nothing, so I'm gonna keep doing nothing because that is luxurious and nice. Open the champagne, please. But it is also exactly this way in which you do deliberate damage the most, by deliberate neglect. You can just a lot of corruption happens by paying off someone to look the other way and just say, "Oh well, don't maintain that."
Thing is, I've had experience with high brass that don't do the training properly.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for new people coming onto the ship. The people that know how to run the ship fine. It's just the new people that come on, which is every single day, that don't get the proper training of where everything is on the ship. And especially being in the yards, you're going to have less time to do so because they're pushed out to other areas for maintaining the ship.
Okay, so it's a structural problem.
Yes, it is a structural problem. The report adds that Captain Michael Ray, the executive officer, Command Master Chief Jose Hernandez, and Captain David Hart, commander of the Southwest Regional Maintenance Center, similarly failed in their responsibilities. Ryan Mays, 20, has been accused of deliberately setting the blaze. He is charged by the military with aggravated arson and willful hazarding of a vehicle or a vessel. He apparently is also a SIL dropout and has bipolar disorder.
Okay, why do you have him in the military? Why do you have bipolar people in the military?
We shouldn't.
Sorry, but bipolar people are very nice and capable most of the time, and then they have a manic episode and do stuff like this, or they have a depressive episode, usually before or after, and are completely useless. Why do you want bipolar people in the military? That is insane. I'm sorry. You're asking for things like this to happen.
We actually have mental health evaluations for those going into the military. Those with ADD, bipolar, ADHD, and gender dysphoria up until recently were not allowed, as they were seen as a mental health risk.
Yes, and that's how it should be. ADHD, the people can concentrate for fuck's sake and do random shit. I'm sorry. I know a couple of people with ADHD, real ADHD, properly diagnosed ADHD, and not just, oh, I'm a little bit hyper sometimes. No. And it depends on the person. Some are very, very, very nice and try to not be too obnoxious. Others, you can't deal with them. It's impossible. They're just erratic and random, and you can't have that in the military. And gender dysphoria should not be in the military too. And I have this condition, for fuck's sake. It is something that if you don't treat it, makes the patient, I get to that, Johan, makes the patient more and more depressed, if you will, but essentially more suicidal. And what you do not want, a soldier who is already coming in with a condition that makes him or her more suicidal by the month. And if you treat it, you have someone who's dependent on, first, who has hormonal mood changes. Secondly, who requires special medication on a daily basis. That is something that you need to keep up in the supply chain. That is an unnecessary weight, an unnecessary burden on the whole thing. I'm sorry, I have this fucking condition. I do not want people with my condition in the military, because I want to be able to trust my military. I want to be able to rely on my military. People with gender dysphoria have no place there. It's the same way that people with hypothyreosis should not be in the military. You mean that is when your thyroid produces too little thyroid hormone, which is a basic one in your body. It has nothing to do with your sex. If you do not produce enough of that, you just go apathetic to the point where even when your best friends are being killed right in front of you in the trenches, you do care, but you can't bring up the energy to feel anything, or to act, to lift an arm, or lift even your pinky finger. You don't have the energy. You require constant medication. And that's a very simple illness. But it should not, if you have that, you should not be in the military. And these other things, they're way worse than that. Gender dysphoria, bipolar, ADHD, whatever else you mentioned. It's horrible. It's unstable. And you do. Why do you want unstable and erratic people in your military? Then you have this. You have giant burning ships. Great. You don't need an enemy at this point. You are your own enemy.
Yeah, and we actually do have a ban on autism being in the military. Like if you are diagnosed with autism, you're not allowed in. Yet they still do get in because quote unquote equal opportunity.
This is okay. The thing with autism is I would allow autism into the military, contrary to all the other things, because it depends on the autism. There are different kinds. And due to all this helicopter mom bullshit of everything's the same and my child isn't retarded, my child is just special. They try to equate the low-functioning autists with the high-functioning ones, and that is simply insulting to both. I know of high-functioning autists who've been in the military, and they've been amazing. Autists have some traits that are really useful in the military, but they need to be high-functioning. They need to be high-functioning autists. And already the socialization must have already taken hold. Otherwise, yeah, they're gonna mess some things up. for example, autists tend to have very, very keen hearing that wakes them up easily. So they're good. When you're out in the field, the autist is usually the one who wakes up first. Have you watched MASH?
Yes, I love MASH up until season 6.
Yeah, do you remember Radar?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he's a very natural portrayal of an autist before autism was a thing, and he has this acute hearing. He's a bit of a nerd. He's mostly a bit of a nerd. You could see him as a very high functioning autist. The way he thinks, the way he acts, and his better senses. Such things have their uses.
Yeah. And thing is, we were just talking about MASH at work the other day, and how Hawkeye was describing a story. I forget what he described the thing making noise was, because he was going through a psychological evaluation upon getting out of the military. And it turned out that what he was saying was making the noise wasn't making the noise whenever they had to make it stop. Otherwise, they would get found out by the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a crying child.
Okay.
And that is one of the best depictions of how the military members' psyche shields them from the terrible things that they had to do.
Yeah, MASH is an interesting comedy.
It's
very
really
down to earth.
Mike, the issue with season 6 is they ran out of stories to tell that were actual part of that era.
Mm-hmm.
And because MASH was known for having actual field medics on their staff whenever they were filming, and giving them story ideas.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of the portrayal of MASH is very, very down to earth. Because you would have that guy like Radar. You would have the guy like who was the one that was always dressing up as a woman because he wanted to get out?
I don't remember his name, but yeah, the one who's faking insanity.
Yes, because he didn't.
And everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it except for the people that come from the main command.
Yeah.
And even then,
why do you keep this guy here? Oh, he's faking it.
Yeah.
He's very dedicated in faking it, so we entertain him. Oh, they would never allow MASH today because it would be transphobic because of the fake crossdresser. Because he's not even a crossdresser, he's just doing it to fake.
Mm-hmm. He is doing it to get out of the military because of that wasn't allowed at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not technically allowed. You can't cross-dress while on base. You can do it off base in your own free time. Just don't let anybody find out.
Yeah, but what if what is it with gender dysphorics or alleged trans people in the military? Do they need a proper diagnosis before they can put on the other uniform, or what's the deal with that?
So they need to have a psychological evaluation for an entire year.
Mm-hmm. That's
properly
standard, yeah.
Be properly diagnosed with it, and then another year later, dress in, like if they actually have it, dress in the uniform. And then one issue that people have with it is having people join the military to get diagnosed and then get the surgery.
And then they leave.
Yep. And
yeah, that's shit, because, hey, are these people taking hormones?
Yep.
And yeah, but then you're not in the military anymore. How do you pay for that?
Don't know.
Yeah, and this is why your military should not be your health insurance, for fuck's sake. That's you being a scumfuck who is abusing your military that is there to fucking protect you, and it's just hurts and pisses me off.
Thing
you
is,
know,
I still get
surgery is
paid
such
by
a
the
minor
military.
part of this condition. If you have the actual condition, if your goal is to get the genital operation, if that is your main thing, your primary thing, you likely do not have gender dysphoria. You're likely a what was it, an autogynephiliac. You likely just have a fetish. Someone with gender dysphoria, I don't think someone with actual gender dysphoria would even be let into the military, because that person is a depressed mess. Because you're in constant psychological pain, and that would not get through any psychological evaluation in the beginning. That is what I find so strange about all these cases.
Yeah. And thing is, the whole trans people being in the military, people didn't have an issue with that. They had an issue with them going in just for the surgery and then using tax dollars to do that.
Yeah, that's parasitic.
And
these are the people who make us look bad.
We had training on this for 6 months before it got dropped with Trump being elected into office. And in that 6 months, we had weekly training on it. And at the end...
Weekly training on what?
On getting trans people into the military.
What? Why do you need weekly train? What?
Yeah, I don't know why it was weekly.
What?
I don't know.
This absolute minority of medical anomalies. You need what is weekly? Please tell me about the weekly training, please. I have vested interest in hearing about that.
So, from what I remember, it was weekly training to get people accustomed to trans people being in the military. It was the same stuff over and over about where they would live, how they would live, not to discriminate against them and things like that. And near the end of it, you could say whatever you wanted and ask questions. Yeah, you could ask questions about that. And this one lady, I love her to death. She was one of my best friends. She was like, okay, but I don't want to sleep in the same berthing as a man that is still going through the transition process because I don't know what's going to happen. And the guys, and thing is, no one had an issue with a woman in the same berthing area as men, because men typically have the biological factor of, I must protect this person from other people. Yeah. So
they can shut the "you need to fuck" process. They can shut that down.
Yep.
If they are emotionally mature.
Yes. And so no one really asked about women being in male birthings, but they asked about men being in female birthings.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's always a one-way thing.
Yep. And the whole response to that was, well, by that point, they're not a man. And
what, biologically they still are.
Yeah.
In the relevant parts, biology. I mean, the biology that beneath the skin doesn't change, but the physiological stuff you can perceive that changes. If that hasn't changed yet, yeah, I understand the woman's discomfort. And anyone who doesn't is delusional and mental and should be discharged from the military and any other position of responsibility, whether in politics or anywhere else. For fuck's sake, you are insane if you do not understand that if penis in other bed next to woman who is uncomfortable because another bed is penis, then you are insane. If you do not understand that, you can reclassify and redefine this as, oh, but now it's a feminine penis because I made the stamp on this paper. Ha ha ha. No, that doesn't change reality, you fuckheads. These are the people we need to send to asylums.
Yeah, I'm just
sorry,
I don't know where it is right now because I have very few friends that are still in the military, and those that are still in are currently on deployment, so it's hard to ask them where things are currently.
Yeah, and the Biden's probably just going to get insane. Everything this guy does seems to be to weaken the United States.
I just looked at gas prices to see where I am going to fill up this morning, and nowhere in my area is less than $3.20. Last year, it was under $1.50.
What? So it's more than double now?
Yes.
Yeah. But Biden is the great president, right? Trump was so bad. Because he had orange hair and skin. And
let's go, Brandon.
Hell. Yeah, let's go, Brandon.
Oh, that is one of the greatest.
How can you accuse Trump of so many horrible things, but everything that is valid against Biden to bring forth as criticism, this absolute monster of a man, is ignored? No, he's still the better guy than Trump because he's not Trump. Like, how fucking retarded are these people? This level of emotional infancy. This is political infancy. I'm sorry, I don't have better words right now.
No, you're absolutely correct. Because
he's on my team, and therefore he's good. He diddles kids, but he's good. Because he's on my team. Fuck you, people. You're not the good guys. You're just a different kind of retarded.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how they can just be like, oh, nothing bad's happening, even though the housing market is crashing. Mm-hmm. The dollar is crashing, stocks are crashing, gas is inflating, inflation is at an all-time high to where we're almost at hyperinflation values.
Yeah, well, you got a socialist in power. What do you expect? Maybe stop voting for your socialist party that masks as Democrat. And no, I'm not kidding. We went over it. The Democratic Party is a socialist party. They're part of Socialist International.
Yep. Thing is, people here, for some reason, especially the younger generation, is like, they're not socialists. They're just neoliberals.
No, they're not neoliberals. Neoliberals are two different things. They have some goal overlaps, like getting rid of borders. Neoliberals are interested in getting rid of borders because they profit from unregulated immigration, because that allows them to drive down wages. That allows them to increase rent prices because the housing is overcrowded. That's why neoliberals want open borders and free trade. Communists want that because they want voting fodder. That's all they want from you. You're not a person to them. You're just a vote. And that's why they want illegals to vote, not just non-citizens, but illegals to vote. And that's why they want children to vote. Because everyone they can influence, everyone they can make dependent, they think will then vote for them. And often that is the case, and that's why they do it. That's how they secure power, because the everyone else eventually catches on to their bullshit and starts, oh, these people promised me shit again and again and again. And then when they got into power, they did the exact opposite. Maybe I shouldn't vote for them anymore. This is how socialists burn their voter base every time. They've been doing it for over 100 years now. And that's why they always want new voting fodder.
Yep. And thing is, I don't see the issue with focusing on your own country first, especially like I'm one for not wanting to be the police state in the world anymore. For some reason, the United States after World War II has become the police state for the rest of the world.
The problem is if you're not, someone else will be. And what are the other options? Name me the other options. If you leave this,
China,
that's a power vacuum.
Russia. Yeah.
Do you want them to be the world police?
No.
Because either you do it or they do it. China as do you want China as cultural hegemon?
Nope.
Would you want Nazi Germany as cultural hegemon?
Oh, hell no.
World police? Oh, they say hell no. China is way worse than Nazi
Oh, I know.
Germany. I know I'm getting into hot water saying that in Germany as a German. And if you look at history, even the Nazis had limits. The Chinese don't seem to have any limits.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't want either, and China is the one that I would want the least. And then there's Russia. Which
Russia at least understands that the social justice shit is shit. Well, China does too, but China is so openly socialist that they've revealed that socialism leads to fascism, because China is fascist now, openly.
Yep, and people don't seem to realize that.
And the eugenics kind of fascist. The Han Chinese think they're the new master race.
People don't realize that fascism is just socialism near the end.
Mm-hmm. It's the logical conclusion of it. It's where it has to end. It says it will end in communist utopia, but it always ends in fascism instead. So you could think that the actual socialists who push this forward are aware of that and know exactly what they're pushing for.
And currently, the corporations have larger buying power than the government and more influence on the government than the people. And that's an issue. I don't have an issue with lobbyists. I have an issue with people people giving more and more money than the average citizen for their policies to be pushed, because there should be a lobbyist for even the individual person, is what I think. That way everybody has a say.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to realize.
Where I have a friend who wants to ban all lobbyists. And funny enough,
better regulation of that would help.
Yeah. And then deregulating a lot of things, such as, not taxing small businesses more than 30% of their income.
Not taxing them for the amount of workers they have.
Yeah.
That is some insanity.
Yeah, I don't know how these things got passed.
I mean, that can't have been anything. Oh, no. Neoliberals could have wanted that because it kills competition.
Yeah, killing competition is the main thing. why are you gonna join 9 minutes before the end? Hold on, let me.
Hello.
Mike, why are you gonna join 8
That is
minutes
so loud.
before the end?
Wait, you said 9 minutes. Now it's 8 minutes.
Well, yes. It was 9
Yes.
minutes at an hour 21. Now it's an
I'm
hour
a-
22.
I'm awake, so fuck it. Might as well.
But yeah, no, I don't know how these laws got passed for taxing, and I absolutely hate that the 17th Amendment exists
Wait.
Oh, yeah, it's the wrong one.
because it's just going to be temporary. Then why'd you make it an amendment?
They always say temporary, but what they usually meant to say is, hold on, let me fix that. We plan on making this permanently. Did we say
There is
temporary?
nothing.
We meant permanently.
There is nothing as permanent as a temporary government thing.
Yep.
It's a temporary government measure. So you never should let your government have some emergency powers just for the temporary thing that's happening. That's totally bad. They're never
Also-
gonna give that away.
Also-
You should have learned that from the Patriot Act. You should have learned that from other similar laws. You should have learned that from now. But you don't.
I was looking through the live chat again on Javier's show that you were on.
Yeah.
YouTube deleted as soon as I sent my comment about who are the most distrustful of the government.
What do you mean?
Y'all were talking about distrust in the U.S. or in government in general, and I sent Javier a message saying that Black people and veterans are the most distrustful of the government, and that comment never saw the light of day in the chat because YouTube deleted it as soon as I sent it.
So not in the comment section, but the chat.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Well, I'm not.
Okay. Have you contacted Javier about that?
Not yet, no. That I was just rewatching it and looking at the live chat again, and I was like, it didn't send, even though I know it sent.
YouTube chat has some weird auto script censoring going on. So if you throw a bunch of keywords in there, it's not gonna. It automatically counts it as profanity, even though it isn't. Yeah, that's how you know you're not in a free society anymore. And people who interpret the First Amendment of, that only means the government can't censor, everyone else still can, ha ha ha. Those are traitors. Traitors to freedom, traitors to liberty, traitors to a free world.
Well, I mean, wait, sorry. I know you mean that veterans don't trust government. But, what do you call Crenshaw then? Being A-okay with the red flag laws? That's bullshit.
Crenshaw has some good takes, and then, oh my god.
What, I'm supposed to respect him just because he lost his eye?
No.
Try losing a leg. Then you get my respect.
I think the loss of an eye is worse than the loss of a leg.
Yeah. Because then you have poor depth perception.
Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, point there.
But no, Crenshaw, I respect him. I respect him that
But the red flag
he
law
was a SEAL and everything. It's just the red flag law and anything dealing with that. Oh, I'm going to call my neighbor, or I'm going to call the cops on my neighbor because I think they have too many guns and I'm scared that they might do something with them, even though they've never shown any hint of ever doing anything.
That's a Stasi law.
Yeah.
Kind of question why such a veteran would think something like that would be a good idea.
Apparently, he's backpedaling on that after talking to Steven Crowder about that because Steven Crowder got on his ass about it.
Yeah, good.
Well,
And it's good
good.
for something.
Yeah, the hell is that all about? Let's just okay with red flag law. Call your neighbor.
Wait, before we get deeper into that, because that's a whole new topic, I posted you a compilation of Trabis on a rally.
And we don't have much longer because I gotta get.
It's
ready
just
for work
a
soon.
minute. Oh well, it's 3 minutes, but it's just
I want to read my comment now.
show a minute of it. It's wholesome. And you should always end on a high note.
Always. I don't see how these things can drift. They look like they would just fall apart.
But they do. Oh, now I have the initial D soundtrack in my head.
Deja vu.
Excuse.
Wait. Gotta play Running in the 90s.
What is it? What is hanging out of
That's a
I
sex
think
doll.
that's
what?
I thought that was Doc for a second.
Why did everything get so loud all of a sudden?
I don't know why. Why did Mike get so loud?
Wait, me?
Yeah, you got really loud for a second there.
My bad. Oh, so I did not sleep.
That looks amazing.
How? How do these things not fall apart?
Well, one thing is about the one perk about socialist production is that since you do not have a lot of stuff, the stuff you do make, you build to last.
That car looked like it's about to topple over.
How the hell is this thing?
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, nope, it's okay.
Oh.
No, it's okay.
the
It went
top-
back on its front.
Yeah, the top fell off.
Who cares? It's a convertible now. No one will. Just don't question it.
Bonk.
It just stops.
Yeah, you don't need an airbag. The car just stops.
Oh.
Oh, that was the color we had.
Whoops. Oh my god. I just watching people in these
Surprised
cars.
they're even alive. It is entertaining.
This is so entertaining.
It's hypnotic. These are unreal movements.
You didn't even turn. You didn't even turn. You just went straight into the woods.
It looks
You
like
just
toy
gave up.
cars. It looks like toy cars having accidents.
And such a short body too. Oh, went off road, got stuck in the ditch.
Well, we just
Again?
saw
No, that was a different color.
that one. Really? I thought it was the same cliff.
Oh. Wait, hold on. Hold.
Yes, you saw that right. That was the exhaust had come off.
What?
Yeah, the exhaust has come off.
Just what? It's
It
still.
happens.
Oh, bye.
The way it spins.
breakdancing car, and then people can just hit it back over.
Yeah,
Oh, sports video.
yeah, they're not that heavy.
Oh my god.
Hey, Cyrus. Hey, Cyrus.
What's up?
Could you read my comment at the 5:31?
The 5:30?
5:30. It was at 5.
Yes. A class of society where Movie Bob will ascend to a higher being and be able to eat 2,000 nuggies, wingies, fries, and burgers, but to a mortal that is but an extra large meal, aka average meal. I hate that he said that. I hate that he said that.
40 nuggets and 20 fries. Wait, I think it's 20
Six
fries,
burgers.
40 nuggets, and I think
Four
4
burgers.
burgers is an average size for a human. What a fat fuck. Even I'm not that fat.
I don't know how he's still alive and hasn't suffered cardiac arrest yet.
You're surprised he's not even
He probably
avocado
practices some,
levels.
since he's so in favor of so many Nazi policies.
No,
Maybe he practices some occult Nazi shit as well.
No, he just has a fat death note where each
keeps him
time
alive.
No, Wisp. You see, he has a fat death note. Each heart attack that he gets, he passes on to other fat people, so he doesn't get to the. So that's why.
You mean
avocado.
if we end Movie Bob, we end obesity?
Well, technically, after you end him, after the amount of people he's killed with his fat death note, he just ceases.
Well,
to
if he's
exist
the god of obesity and we dispose of him,
no, he just
does that end obesity?
Possibly. Not only that, but he just ceases to exist.
What? Yeah, if we dispose of him, yes, that is kind of the point.
And
what are you talking about?
I'm basically saying, even after beating him, it's just like that. Just what happened. Just no mention.
Mike, you're not making sense.
No, I'm making sense. I'm basically saying.
No, just stop it. Just stop it.
No, I know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know what you're saying, but you're not articulating it well.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm basically saying even if you were to get rid of him, you would forget even doing that in the first place. So it's like,
let's see.
You would go back to as if
Hold
nothing
on.
had never happened.
What? Mike.
I wanted to end on a high note. No, we got bullshit.
Here. Let us end on a high note. Here is a good image.
Good night, folks. Meanwhile, in a parallel universe, like that.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
And goodbye, everybody.
Bye.